I'm a multi-time best-selling author, and I did not work on my books this week, but not for the usual reasons. So let's break it down for you. Typically, as a multi-time best-selling author, I do not write every single day. I don't write every single week. I write my books very quickly. I produce content very quickly. And so I take breaks. Typically, and this is not what happened this week, but typically I will focus on one of my businesses and then the next business. So if I'm writing a novel, I'm mostly focused on my novels, and I'm running my other businesses kind of on the back burner. If I'm working on a project for my other businesses, the book's on the back burner. I'm not really doing book writing. I'm doing marketing, but like limited capacities. So I kind of trade off where my focus is going to be. That is not what happened this week. I do recommend that, especially if you're running more than one business, and author life is a business, that you are focused on one project at a time and then going from one to the next and doing kind of back burner, front burner status with your different businesses and the different projects you're doing. Even within author life, you can focus heavily on like writing the novel and putting marketing on the back burner, and then focus on marketing in the front burner and your book writing on the back burner. So you can do this to make sure you're not burning out, all of those things. This week was not that. This week was a lot. This week, we got a really bad snowstorm. And by snowstorm, I mostly mean ice storm. We got some snow and then a lot of ice. And that ice took down a bunch of trees, which then collapsed onto my fence where my dogs play. So we had a lot of damage. We sustained a lot of damage to the fence. Some of our trees dropped. Some of our neighbors' trees dropped onto our fence, which they aren't going to do anything about. And we are doing a lot of cleanup for that. And so we had to go out and we had to shovel the snow and the ice off of the driveways. I managed to do that for a couple of hours. I helped the neighbor with their driveway. I know. And I came back inside and immediately fell very, very ill. I ended up with some kind of flu. For days, I was knocked out. I was unable to function. I was unable to work. I couldn't check my emails. Like, I was really, really sick. I was bad. And so I managed to get up today. You can see I'm sitting in a car. I'm actually running errands with my mom today. And she's in the store right now because I'm too weak to go in the store and walk around. Like, I'm okay. I'm just very tired and recovering. So I'm sitting in this car all weird with no headroom trying to get you videos here because I was just out for days. And I managed to catch up on my emails. I managed to do a little bit of work this morning before we ran out, because today, in just a couple of hours, we are getting another snowstorm. So in the midst of all of this, we had the ice and snowstorm. We had cleanup from that because trees were across our driveway. We couldn't get out if there was an emergency, all of those things. We had to deal with the fallen trees. We had to deal with the broken fence, which is still broken, by the way, but we bent it up so we're like limited functioning. We're going to have to figure that one out. And then we had to cut down our other trees because they would come down in another storm. Pine trees, man, I don't know why people are planting them. They do not stay very well. I'm from up north where there are lots of pine trees, but they plant a lot of them down here. I don't know. And so yesterday was all about cutting down the trees. My girls were exceptionally well behaved, by the way. They were unbothered by the people cutting trees a few feet away, which is fantastic. I was so proud of them. And then today is literally just handling before the next snowstorm. We're not getting ice with this one, thank goodness. But we are going to get snow. I know one of the cities next to us has absolutely no water because a pipe in the water distribution system burst. So they have been without water, period. Like no running water whatsoever for days. It's been a lot of chaos going on. So I have not worked on my book. Now, the nice thing is, because I work on this in sections, the front burner, the back burner, that's actually okay, because I wasn't focused on my books right now. I was actually going to be, LOL. But because of the way that I do things, because of the systems and the strategies I have up, my business ran without me. Things were still happening. All the good stuff was still going on inside of my business. I was still earning money inside of my business while I was sick, while I was down from all of we had power out for a little while, but not terribly long, all of the snow, all of the problems, everything kept working. And just because I did not work on my book, it didn't hurt my bottom line. It didn't hurt where I was going. It didn't hurt what I was doing. It didn't hurt my career. It's not going to hurt my income. I am doing really well because of the way that I've set up my business. So I did not write the way that I typically write. I did not get my work done. There was days of my life, not an entire week, but days of my life where I didn't get to do any work. But because of the way I built my business, my author stuff kept bringing in money. My other businesses kept bringing in money. I was able to do things, and there was only a couple of little hiccups that I'm going to have to handle with like brand deals and things. Then they knew in advance that we were about to have that state of emergency storm that we had. So there's just a couple of things that I have to like handle and refine and catch up on. And then it's just like normal catch up stuff, but it's not hurting my business, thank God. And it just means now, as I'm kind of rearranging things and changing things up, I'm just going to shift around a little bit what I'm doing with you. And that might mean, you know, changing the order of some projects I was working on, books or marketing, otherwise some of those other things that I'm doing for you. It means a little bit later release on some of the videos I had planned for you. But overall, you're not going to see much. You, as the viewers, the consumers, the community, aren't really going to see too much of the hiccups. You don't know what's going on when, so you're not going to see a lot of it. It's just me kind of zhuzhing where things are, when things are coming out, how things are working to accommodate this. But it's not something that causes me stress. So no, I didn't write in my book this week. I wanted to, but I didn't. And so now I'm just going to kind of change around what I'm doing, how I'm doing things. Going to look a little bit different from you, but you're not going to know the difference, and it's not going to impact or affect me that much. So when I say you can create a business that's going to work for you when you're sick, when you're on vacation, when an emergency situation happens, when I say that you have the ability to control a lot within your businesses and take out a ton of stress, I mean that. You have the ability to do a lot. So when emergency situations or unforeseen things like what happened to me this week come up, you can survive and you can thrive. So drop your questions. We talk a lot about this here on this channel. There's playlists and videos and videos and videos on this kind of thing. There's also videos on this kind of thing over on my main channel, especially with the business side of things, the influencer side of things, the content creator side of things, the marketing side of things over on youtube.com/KMRobinson. So there's hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of videos on these things, but I want to get your questions answered on how you can do this as well if you haven't been keeping up, if you're new here, if you're just figuring this out, or if you want more detail, more help, or more support, or more community. We can talk more about this here on the channel. I'm going to wrap this up because I can't sit like this any longer. I'm also kind of tired, and I need to go do some like Instagram stories or something because I haven't talked to you guys in days. But let me know, what do you need to know about creating that bomb-proof, fire-proof, life-proof business as an author to make sure that no matter what happens in your life, your author life is going to sustain you and keep you going? Drop it down below. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.